What is going on, everybody? I'm going to take this thing down real quick because I don't think Dan wants to show his face after that awesome week he had last week. Dan, it's the NFL Weekly Pick'em Show, and how are you feeling this week so far?
Try to get the number one pick for the Giants. Yeah,
It's that bad, huh?
that's the talk. We're gonna have the number two pick, number one pick, number two pick. That's the big talk all week.
Wow. I mean, yeah, last week, Dan, for you guys wasn't a great week, for your team there, the New York Football Giants. But I'm very sorry. I'm very sorry for last week, Dan. I really am. Really am sorry.
It was expected. I said 35-6. I was a little off, but not far off.
Not far off, Dan.
They scored 17.
But you know what, Dan? I'm going to tell you one thing. From now on, I am never reading inactive rosters again in my life because everybody that I mentioned on the inactive roster actually played last week, Dan. That was amazing. Right. Tyron Smith was scheduled to be out. Marquise Bell was supposed to be out. Tyler Baez was supposed to be out. And then I'm looking at the game. I'm like, I was banned from Facebook, so I couldn't chat with you guys on the group chat. And I'm like, what the hell? These were supposed to be out. Now they're playing. Okay, well, you know what? Maybe I will take the 40 burger,
But I knew they're going to lose by a lot. Just foregone conclusion. Just as bad as their offense was average, it wouldn't have been like that. So their defense is bad again, too.
Well, I hope you guys get the number one pick this year. I really hope you do. Or at least the second or third pick. I mean, you keep playing the way you do, Dan. We can talk about that a little bit later on the NFC East War Room. I think there's a lot to talk about on there, regarding the picks for next year. But, Dan, how was your NFL picks last week? Because
versus the spread 8, and this week it was horrible. 6. I got 6 right.
Well, Dan, I mean, this vision, the little board isn't the greatest up there to look at real quick.
Nope.
But Dan, I mean, there was 4 toss-up games, and I want to say something. I'm really good at pick up toss-up games, Dan, because I went opposite from you.
Carolina can go either way. Pats Colts going to win either way. It did. It was like that. Yeah. There are some games like that were just really. The Bills lost. Like
we both lost that one, Dan. We both lost that. We both lost a couple of them, Dan. We both lost the Bills Broncos game. Who would have thought that crap? Also the Browns game. We lost that one, and we lost the Bengals game as well, Dan. I mean, there was 3 games we both just.
Oh man, Burrow got his ass kicked again.
What's that?
Burrow got out a rough game.
Sacked a bunch. He better rebound tonight because that defense from the Ravens is pretty nasty too. So that's a game that they need to bounce back. But all the toss-up games, Dan, I actually won the toss-up games. That coin flip actually worked out for me. So we moved up the list here, Dan. I got the updated list here for the season.
Yep.
Now, Dan, I was up 6 on you six on you last week, and I went back up to 10 again. I went back up to 10 again, Dan. So I want to say one thing. Like I hit that plateau of going, double digits for 6 weeks straight. Then I crapped the bed 3 weeks going single.
Yep.
Now back at the doubles. Is this your time to go single digits now, Dan?
Probably. Just like my team. Well. Yeah, single-digit wins, just like my team.
Well, Dan, you're not supposed to follow the trend of your favorite football team, Dan, okay? I mean, if that was the case, I mean, you probably want to get
That's the NFL. The NFL is pretty unpredictable this year,
It is. It's crazy that the toss-up games that we pick, like either way, those are the ones that's going to make or break us for the entire season here, Dan.
Yeah, because certain games, like, we went as expected, but still, like, there's certain, like, I just, the Carolina could have won, but they messed it up. So because they're not a good football team, but it happens. It's whatever.
Very true. It is what it is. Well, how about we go to this week, Dan? Let's talk about this week here. This was last week, of course. So I don't want to, I want to show that one more time because toss-ups can win you a.
Can't be worse than looking at my team. So.
Well, let's move on to this week.
Just saying.
We got a little better screen this week. I've made a little bit of better screen here. But tonight, Dan, we got a little good game here tonight. Joe Burrows isn't looking like Joe Burrows last week, of course. He both killed us last week, Dan. Now they're playing the Ravens, who both coming off a loss here, Dan.
I'm taking the Ravens because, the Ravens are at home. The Ravens are playing better football right now.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it could be another game. I think the Ravens are just going to win this game. And the spread if it's the spread, I pick the Ravens also, 3.5. But if I'm going to pick a winner, I'm going to pick the Ravens because they're just they're playing much better brand of football right now overall.
I agree with you. I think well, Higgins is out tonight for the Bengals too. You know what I mean? And
that makes it a little tougher. But the problem is, is Burrow going to be getting his ass kicked back there? Like their offensive line has not been good either this year, and he hasn't been 100% either. So for them, they're going to have to play well defensively. But like I said, Baltimore's coming over, but still, Baltimore still looks like the better football team as of now. You throw that out last week. I think they'll
Agree. I agree. I want to take the Ravens as well. I think the defense for the Ravens is just so fast. They play north and south, east and west. They play all directions. And we see what Burrow, man, that dude, you got to give this kid in the pocket. If you give him time, he can pick you with any
just a
regardless.
little bit of time. He just needs a little bit of time, really, a little bit more, and he could be effective.
I agree.
He's so skilled.
Yeah, I agree. I think they're going to get to him. Roquan Smith's probably going to have a field day coming off that edge to the backfield there with Burrows as well. Yep. And it's going to be a quick game, a quick throw game here. But the Ravens defense is just so fast, man. And the thing is, when you got Lamar Jackson at home, it's a different breed at home, Dan.
That's what I'm saying. They're at home. If they were away, I might, I think the Bengals, I'm not going to say they'll have a shot, but I think I might have picked the Bengals if they were at home. But like I said, I don't think it'll be a blowout by any means, but I think the Ravens will win this game at home.
Yeah, I'm going to go same thing with you. I both agree on that game tonight. I'm both going to take the Ravens here. But we'll move on to the second game here. The Cleveland Browns and the Pittsburgh Steelers, man.
I didn't know who to pick in this game. I'm picking the Browns partially because they're at home. I know they don't have Deshaun Watson. They still have a good defense. And you just don't know what to expect from Pickett necessarily. Watt could have a good game, obviously. But I don't know if how's their offense going to be. Pittsburgh's offense, that is.
They don't know how to score. I mean, both Canada, the Browns, well, they have PJ Walker this week. Deshaun's out, of course, for the season. So
it's not horrible.
Yeah, I mean, you know what? I would pick this game if the Pittsburgh Steelers were at home. I probably would take Pittsburgh because they play a lot better at home, man. But Cleveland, man, I just don't know what it is. The Pittsburgh offense can't score. Najee Harris is not starting this week. I forgot who their starting guy is. Najee is on the bench this week, not starting. Kenny Pickett can't throw the ball right. This offense doesn't look the same. The only thing they have is saving grace is the defense, Dan. So I'm going to give the advantage here to the home team. To me, it's a pick'em game as well.
And both will score under 20, I think.
I think this game's going to be definitely under. If whatever the under is, please, I would take the under here because
I would.
I don't know, Dan. I think this might be a field goal game. If you got the field goal kicker on this team, you might want to take his ass. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
16, this team can't score.
10, 16, 30. It's going to be something like that.
Yeah, I think
your team's going to pull away.
I think you score 20, you win the game here, Dan. That's the way I look at it.
I agree with that.
I really do. I really do. Two struggling offenses, two strong defenses.
Yep.
It's who can.
It's going to be a defensive football game.
Exactly. It's going to be one of those games, a very low scoring game here. So we're both taking the Cleveland Browns. Nobody can make any advantage yet here. But Dan, let's go to the next game here. The Arizona Cardinals, who won last week with Kyler Murray on the field, going against the Houston Texans, are playing some good ball with C.J. Stroud.
No, I think the Texans just look like they're a better football. They're playing good football right now. Even though Kyler Murray did look good, I agree with that. Texans are at home. Stroud's playing really well. He seems to have that connection with Tank Dell. They just seem to be playing much better football than they were earlier in the year. And is that defense going to be able to stop Stroud? Because Stroud looks like he's like he can give you trouble if you don't play solid defense. You score some points on you.
I agree. I mean, C.J. Stroud is rookie of the year right now for me, hands down.
Oh, absolutely.
Insane numbers. Almost back-to-back 400-yard games, Dan, and he's playing lights out here. And I agree with you. I understand they have Kyler Murray back, second game in the system here. But they gave up some points last week too. You know what I mean? And this C.J. Stroud offense can score, lights out.
Yep.
So I'm going to go Houston Texans here. I mean, it's not a toss-up, but in a certain way it is because I don't know what Arizona is, Dan. I really don't.
Who knows? Maybe Kyler Murray's sitting all that time. Maybe he's a better quarterback, but I really need to see him play consistently well to really take stock in that.
True. Yeah. So we're going to Texans here. Now we move on to the next game here. Will Levis is playing quarterback against the Jacksonville Jaguars. Trevor Lawrence Sunshine. We're both on the Sunshine wagon here with the Jacksonville Jaguars again.
Yeah, I mean they're home. What are they 6-3 now? They lose last week or they win? They lost, right?
They lost last week.
Who they play?
I can pull it up here, Dan. Pull it up there real quick. Where the hell are they at, Dan? My eyes are going bad on this one, Dan. This was a bad image.
They are. You need better graphics.
They lost to the Cleveland Browns last week, Dan.
So I think they're going to have a bounce back game at home.
I agree.
Versus Tennessee. I do like Will Levis, but the Jags seem to be like that. They'll play a bad game, they'll lose, and then they'll win the next game. That's kind of how they've been a little bit this year. They've had some bad games and some really good games as well. So I'm going to pick the Jags at home.
Yeah, I'm going to go
close though.
I think it's going to be a close game. I'm going to go to the Jags Wells home too. I think that just like you said, they play good one week, they play next week the bad. It's it's night and day. It's a 180 situation with them. But playing at home against the if you can stop Derrick Henry, I think you've got a shot at this time. And Derrick Henry really hasn't been Derrick Henry all year, Dan. He's
not
really not.
what he used to be. Absolutely
No,
not. If he was
not
like
at
running
all.
like he used to, then I might pick Tennessee. But that's not really happening. And without him like having a good game, I don't. He's kind of important and it helps Levis a lot if he could run well.
Yeah, I mean, if Treylon Burks was healthy, he's out for the year with that stinger on his leg again. I mean, I don't believe in DeAndre Hopkins. That could be your one wide receiver that can scare
He's
me. You know what I mean?
north of 30 now too. So
Yeah, I mean, he's getting up there as age as well. He's not what he used to be. Arizona let him go. That's hey, it is what it is. But Will Levis doesn't scare me. If you can control Derrick Henry in the backfield, I think you got a shot at this game. And the offense for the Jaguars can score, Dan. I love their offense.
They have a good
too.
offense. They have a solid offense when they're playing well.
They do. So we're both taking Jacksonville at home this week, which is, I think, a solid win for them. Easy win. I don't want to say easy, but I think it's a clear-cut win for them. Next is the Ken Fry's team from the Silver and Black every Friday morning at 10 a.m. You can check him out every 10 a.m. on Friday mornings on the Box Sports Entertainment. His Raiders are going down and playing the Miami Track Meet Dolphins, Dan.
Good luck. It's going to be a bigger test this time.
Yes,
it's not the Giants or the Jets. So this is a bigger test. I do think the Raiders won't play bad, but Miami's definitely a better football team than they are, and it is totally different than the last two teams they played. Like the Jets and Giants have no offense whatsoever. So I see Miami beating the Raiders by 10 at least. I don't know if they're going to be able to play. I mean, Miami's good, but I'll say the Raiders are playing well. I like Pierce, but this is his first real test. I think for them.
This is like playing the cupcake schedule in the beginning of the season. Then you play a real team here, Dan. I mean, Miami's different at home. For some reason, when they play at the Hard Rock,
they're really good at home.
They're really fast. It's like they know the field. Like play basketball on the hardwood. They know the cracks and crevices where the ball bounces better. They know this field, and Raiders haven't seen anybody like Waddle or Tyreek Hill or a Tua this year. So
no,
I think this is a 2-score game, Dan. Easy. I think
it's a 2-score game as well. Like DeVito and Wilson are nothing compared to Tua.
Very true.
It's not even the same thing. So
yeah, I mean, you can pick one wide receiver that you played with before, but this team has 3 deep. You know what I mean on wide receivers here. Plus with Mostert in the backfield, I believe Achane's coming back this week too. And man, I tell you what, pick your poison when you got 5 wide receivers on the field.
I'd be very surprised if the Raiders did beat Miami at home.
Dan, you know what?
Even though they've been playing better.
Now that you said that, it's going to happen, Dan, because every time we say something.
I know, right?
As long as we don't say this is the lock of the week, Dan, because our lock of the week suck, okay?
No, I think the lock of the week is the next game. I just do.
Really? All right, well, let's move on to it, Dan. So far, we agree on every damn game so far, Dan, but wow, the Dallas Cowboys you think are the lock against the Carolina Panthers?
Yeah, they're going to beat Carolina without a doubt. I'm not even questioning it. I'm dead serious. How could I pick Carolina in my right mind? How could I think they're going to win this game?
Well, you need to catch back up. You need to catch back up.
Destroyed us, and Carolina sucks like we do. So
okay, here's my question for you: who's worse, Carolina Panthers or the New York Giants, Dan?
I think the Panthers are worse than us, but I think they have better talent at quarterback right now. But our offensive line is way worse, I would say. I don't know how many times Young's been sacked. So
he's been pressured a lot. I mean, he's making some good throws too, but you got to give this time, give this kid some amount of time on the offensive line there, because I don't care who you got a wide receiver, man. If you're getting pressured up the middle and the sides, you can't go through your reads, Dan. If you take away the number 1 read, it's over. But I agree with you here. Dallas will win this game. I think it's going to be handily. But Dan, here's the question: what is the score to this game? Because you're thinking this is a lock of the week.
I don't know if it's going to be 49-17.
Holy crap, Dan! Are you serious?
I don't think.
Oh, I was like, I didn't hear the don't, Dan. I didn't hear the don't there. Oh,
I'm going to say 31-10.
31-10. Okay, I can see something like that. I think it's going to be, what is the spread, like 10.5 or something like that?
11.
11. Okay, last week Dallas covered the 15-point spread. This week it's 11. So
I think they'll cover 11 points.
I think they will too. But Dan, the thing is with Dallas Cowboys, we play coming off that Eagles loss, in the last minute there, our mistake. Then you play the Giants
to teams.
You play down, Dan. I'm going back to the Arizona game, Dan. I'm going back to the Arizona game. You know what I mean? This is a team that's just like Arizona did.
Arizona, I think when they had Dobbs and they were healthy, they were more talented than Carolina is.
The last time we played Carolina, Dan, Sam Darnold was a quarterback. He had 3 rushing touchdowns and 1 through the air and beat us. Okay, that's scary.
When was that?
Well, that was 4 years ago, 3 years ago.
But crap about that.
I still remember those nightmares that I see, Dan. Okay, I still remember nightmares. Okay,
I just don't see Carolina beating the Cowboys. The Cowboys looked good last week.
Okay.
Dave says, "What's up, Dave?"
What's going on, David? You know what? You guys can check myself and Dan out tonight. Dan, all these D's on this network. Dave and I will be on tonight at 9:30. Them 215 boys. We're supposed to be on Wednesday night, but we did it tonight because it was a great game. Boston versus Sixers on. So we'll be on tonight 9:30 to talk about that Carolina game as well coming up. But Dan, I agree. I think Dallas sufficiently wins this game, probably covering the spread. I think they win by 2 TDs. You know what? I'll give
14.
it. Yeah, I'm gonna give it a damn. I'm gonna go 33-17, Dan. I think it's a 16-point win for us tonight.
Why, you think they get like a garbage touchdown or something?
I really do. I think Dallas.
Yeah,
I think
Cooper like we did.
Yeah, I think it's going to be the charity touchdown. I think it's time. Christmas is coming up, Dan. It's time to give out some Christmas gifts. So why not be in Dallas Cowboys? Give them a gift. Give them a touchdown. Give them a touchdown.
Obviously, I wouldn't mind if Dallas lost, but it doesn't mean anything for us. But I don't think it's going to happen. So
you just worry about continue losing for that draft pick, Dan.
Yeah. No winning, right. No more winning the rest of the year for us. I'll be mad.
Watch them go on this run now, Dan. Watch them go on this run now, okay? They're going to go on this. They're going to go on this 8-game winning streak and shock the world, make the playoffs. Winning the playoffs is a wild card.
The Giants fans on Twitter will be livid. They'll be like, "What are you doing? Where was this earlier in the year?" That crap.
Danny DeVito, Rookie of the Year.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Eileen says, "I think the Bengals Steelers win." Wow, she's got the Bengals tonight. Okay. And the Steelers. Wow, she's going against the grain tonight with us, Dan.
All right.
We'll see on that one, man. Watch it happen now, Dan. Watch it happen now. But let's move on to the next one.
Lost, maybe I'd pick Bengals, but next game.
Let's go on to the next game. Man, this team is red hot, Dan. Offense, defense, Detroit Lions playing. I don't know what the hell the Chicago Bears are, Dan.
I don't know what the Bears are. They played a bad team. I think Detroit wins this game at home. I think they're going to run all over the Bears.
I think too. I think this one here was my lock. I'm going to go lock of the week here, Dan. I know we're doing a little bit early since you already gave the Cowboys lock of the week. I think this is my lock of the week here. I think this is a 2 to 3 touchdown win for the Detroit Lions, man. I really do. At home, it reminds me of that the St. Louis Rams team, greatest show on turf. When they're hot, man. And at home, they play some ball, Dan.
Yeah, they play really well at home. They're picking home, but even if they're away, I think they beat the Bears. It would be closer, I think.
Mm-hmm.
But I think they're going to beat the Bears by 10 or more.
I agree.
At least 2 scores.
I agree.
The Bears are. I mean, the Lions look good. The Lions look like a good football team right now.
Now, does this make a difference? Justin Fields is back for the Chicago Bears. Does that make a difference on your mind?
Maybe a little bit. Maybe he'll be able to pull off a couple of scores, but I don't think it means they're going to beat Detroit.
Yeah, I'm not sold on Justin Fields, man. To me,
I'm still not sold on him.
To me, hey, listen, just like Joe Sullivan's always said was as well too. What's up, fellas? Go Ravens. He's taking the Ravens, of course, down there.
Yep.
I agree with that 100%, Joe. And also, you can check out Joe every Monday night on Sully Squad 6 p.m. and also NFC East War Room right after this show. Dave will not be on today. I will be on. Dan will be on. Steve will be on for the Commanders, and Joe would be the representative for the Philadelphia Eagles. I'm not sold on any quarterback from the Ohio State Buckeyes except for C.J. Stroud. Finally,
Stroud has shown that
yes.
He's different. I think. Well, the one thing I want to say about the Texans is I think they're very well coached. I think their O-line has done well for Stroud. They've protected him, I think, pretty well lately.
Agree.
And when you give him protection and give him Tank Dell is really coming on.
Mm-hmm.
His confidence is really high. So I really like what Stroud's done the past 3 weeks or so.
I agree. Even with Justin Fields, I'm still going to take the Detroit Lions. I still think it's going to be a 2-score game.
I can't take the Bears.
Here's we got a comment real quick. I think Raha Akhtar saying Giants suck, Dan. I don't know what that means, but I think
maybe
I think that's what
they do suck. So
maybe that's like a coding word there or something, Dan. I have no idea. But let's move on to the next week, Dan. Man, Dan, we've agreed on every game so far, Dan.
Yep.
Boy, I tell you. Okay, well, let's what? How about we agree on this game here too? Both taking the Los Angeles Chargers versus, man, what the hell is wrong with these Green Bay Packers, man?
Yeah, I can't remember if I want to take the Packers.
Really?
No. Nope.
Nope.
I think Herbert's going to throw all over them, to be honest.
But the Chargers give up points, Dan. This could be the game.
Chargers do give up points. How many do the Packers average a game?
I think about like 21, 22, right in that area.
I'm still taking the Chargers. I think they have a little more firepower. Their defense is nothing special, I know. But I think Herbert's going to have a good game versus Green Bay. Because Green Bay will give up points too, won't they?
They will. Their defense, I mean, you look at the teams that they played the last couple of weeks, I think they gave up like 30-something to the Bears, and that was the Bears, Dan.
Yeah,
the Bears,
so they might give up 40 to the Chargers.
And Herbert's
Chargers might give up 24.
True. But Herbert's one of those quarterbacks, man. If he gets hot, dude, he can go for that 20 to 20, range there, accuracy-wise, and light up the scoreboard. So I'm going to go Chargers as well.
The thing is with that, like if you're not going to be able to pressure him, and he's going to be able to stand back there, he'll pick you apart. Like that's the thing. When you pressure him, that's when you beat them. That's
exactly. Well, that's what Dallas did. Dallas put a lot of pressure on him up the middle and on the sides here. He doesn't scramble a lot. He doesn't like to scramble.
He's a pocket passer.
Exactly. You want to make him think.
But he wants to stand in that pocket and be throwing for there by running all over the place.
Agreed. I think the only way Green Bay wins this game, Dan, the only way is if Lambeau Field Saturday night gets a 2-foot snowstorm. That is the only way that the Green Bay Packers can win this game, Dan. Honestly, either that or Aaron Rodgers comes back and not even regardless of the injury, if he comes back and suits up, or maybe a Brett Favre back in the day, they come back. That is the only way that the Green Bay Packers is going to win this game. Only way, anyway.
Pretty definitive there.
Yeah, I mean, that's it. That's what I see. It's either a snowstorm or you get some. I don't care who you get a quarterback, you bring somebody in because Jordan Love is just not the answer for me right now. Not even. But then now this is kind of surprising. This next game is kind of surprising to me. I can't believe I'm taking Tommy DeVito and the New York Giants to beat the Washington Redskins here.
I know why you're taking them, because the Giants have sucked for how long, and they typically beat Washington. No matter how bad they've been, they have Barkley. So if they have Barkley always seems to play well versus them.
Mm-hmm.
So I could see them winning. But I think Washington's a better football team than we are, to be honest. Even though they haven't played well, I think they're a better team, and I think it's going to be a close game. I think it's going to be like 16-13. But versus the spread, I'm taking the Giants. 10.
What is the spread? Whoa! It's 10.
Yeah, let me look again.
Last I seen it was 8.5.
It's high.
I seen 8.5 a couple of nights ago.
It was 10 yesterday.
Wow.
But 8.5 is still a lot.
Dude, I'm taking, even if it's 8.5, I took the Giants plus 8.5. I'm taking them out right there.
Versus the spread, I'm taking the Giants.
Mm-hmm. There's your co-host right there, Stacy Northrup checking in. Stacy,
I'll be rooting for
Giants.
Mm-hmm. Without a doubt, I'll be rooting for them. Even though Washington doesn't have their 2 defensive ends, they're still.
But Dan, they're
like the Raiders.
Washington is playing better without Chase Young and Sweat right now.
That's what I mean. They're playing better than we are, even though they're not they have like 4 wins, don't they?
Yes, yeah.
We have like 2. So honestly, I just see them as a better football team than us right now, and they look like they're playing better than we are.
But I'm gonna go with what you said. They play them tough no matter what, regardless of records.
Always.
Here, Dan, every year, regardless of records. I mean, I throw out that Dallas, Giants game for week 1. It's preseason to me, week 1, Dan. So going in here week 10 here, I'm gonna go Giants here because
week 11.
Week 11. It shows me that either DeVito is going to play a little better. He can't play any worse, Dan. Put it that way. Okay, he can't play any worse.
The only way for the Giants is up, not down.
Exactly.
I think earlier this season is probably the worst I've seen the offensive line, the worst I've seen from the quarterback play. Not to say Tyler Taylor sucked, but no matter who we've had in there, we haven't really scored a lot of points. Mm-hmm. And DeVito scored 17, even though it was a garbage touchdown, but he scored more than Tyrod Taylor.
Mm-hmm.
And scored more twice. So I
Okay.
just think that Washington is playing a little bit better, and I think they're a little bit better than we are at the moment right now.
Yeah, Allian says Bostock says the Giants and Tommy DeVito would destroy the Commanders. I think so too. I actually agree with that because of the
I
fact
would
that
be surprised.
Dan, I'm telling you, this is the NFC East game here.
Mm-hmm.
3 and 4 seeds are playing. We're in our division here. I'm throwing out the records here, Dan. I'm throwing out about who they lost, who you guys have at QB.
I'm almost tempted to change my.
No, Dan, it'll cost you. It'll cost you if you do that. But we can do that if you want to.
I'm going to stay with it.
You're going to stay with it.
The feeling I have about the Giants at the moment.
I could be playing reverse psychology here, Dan, to help you out. Like, the Giants are going to win this game, of course. But what does it do for me? You know what I mean? It doesn't do shit for me. So I think the Giants actually win this game, Dan. But listen, if you're a better out there,
look at that comment by Steve. The only thing DeVito will do is come up short like his brother Danny DeVito. That's pretty funny. Now watch, the Giants are going to win like 30-0. Some crazy shit like that.
Exactly.
No, I don't think it's going to happen.
How tall is Danny DeVito? Like 5'1",
6'1",
maybe
6'2", maybe 6'1".
Now, how long is Danny DeVito?
Oh, 5'4",
right,
5'1",
5 and a couple inches, maybe.
Some
oh my God, Dan! I'm telling you, now it's going to happen, man. I'm definitely going to win this game because the Giants are. All these rude comments are coming in. The Giants are winning this game. I'm telling you.
Oh God,
But if you're a smart bettor, take the points with the Giants. I think the Giants cover the 8 to 10 point spread. I'm telling you, the Giants
if it's like a spread like that, I think they would cover that easily.
I agree. It's kind of funny that the first game we go against each other as the NFC East here, Giants and Commanders here. So
well, who knows? Maybe Thibodeau will go and have wreak havoc again like last time. Because they didn't do well for Hal last time, even though they almost beat us.
But you know what? It's funny. I want to hear Steve say who he's picking on this game here. Steve is the host of the Commanders Gridiron every Tuesday at 6:30. I want to hear who he's picking and what the final score of that game would be. Man, I'm telling you.
Both under 20.
What's that?
Both under 20, probably.
I don't know, Dan. I think this is one of the games that they're going to surprise us. I think each team scores over 20, Dan. I think it's going to be.
Well, maybe it's DeVito's second real game. Maybe he learns a little more each time.
It can't get any worse. It can't get any worse.
Surprise me.
It can't get any worse, like you said.
We'll see what happens. I do think it's going to be a close game, and hey, if the Giants win, of course I'll root for them. But I'll lose in pickups. I just need to get you in the last two.
Yeah, definitely. There's two disagreements here. This week we only disagreed on 3 games, Dan. So at least you can come up 3. But
yeah,
I think it's going to be 27-23 Giants this week. I think DeVito actually does some good this week. I really do. I think there is no going backwards. The only thing you can go forward. And Daboll's one of those coaches that'll put it all out on the field no matter what.
I'm interested to see how they finish the season. If they just keep losing or they steadily improve slowly. But I don't see them winning many more games. This is probably one of the chances they could win a game. The Packer game, the Saints game. The other ones are going to be tough. The Eagles twice.
Yeah.
They still got to play the Rams, I think.
It depends. You got a chance to beat the Rams. The Rams defense is not the greatest, but their offense, if Paco plays, and Cooper Kupp plays as well, that's going to be a hard task as well. So we'll see who the roster shows when you guys play them. But Dan, let's get to the next game here, man. San Francisco 49ers at Levi Stadium versus the Baker Mayfield Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
49ers all day.
I agree.
And they are healthier, right?
They are all healthy now. Yeah.
So when they're all healthy, they are really tough to beat. If they weren't healthy, I still think the 49ers would win at home. I think they're a far better football team. They're like a Super Bowl contender. They're a far better football team than Tampa Bay, and Tampa Bay got their ass kicked by the Titans last week.
Yeah, who would have thought that, right?
So I just think San Francisco is far stronger. They're going to win this game.
I agree.
Like I said, there's no doubt in my mind that they'll win this game.
I agree. And the thing is, the defense got better. Last week, I've seen a pancake happen when Bosa and Chase Young nailed the quarterback last week.
Oh, yeah. I forgot about that. They have Chase Young, and that makes their defense even more nasty. If Chase Young can return back to form, he's healthy, that makes them even tougher. That was a great move by them.
It was. And the funny thing is, when he played the Commanders, he looked like he didn't want to play anymore. He was just like, I don't want to play here anymore.
Now he's on a team where he can win a Super Bowl.
Exactly.
That changes your entire mindset.
he looks like to me like the first round pick, the first pick in the NFL draft, Chase Young coming back with the
Well,
Niners right now.
the
That's what he
issue
looks
is
like.
it makes Bosa even more dangerous
You can't double
because
team
when
him.
you got a opposing pass rusher
Yeah.
that's solid with the skill of Chase Young, one of them is going to get to you.
Yeah.
Like, who do you chip? Can't chip both of them. So now you have a problem on both sides. That's why having pass rushers on each side is so important. It causes such a problem.
This reminds me of going back to your guys, with the Giants here, the bookends, Strahan, who was a JPP on the other end as well.
Strahan and OC and
Tuck.
Tuck.
OC Manura, yeah, and Tuck.
And then the second one was OC, Tuck, and JPP. The second
you guys had the bookends. This is what they remind me of: two solid bookends where, you know what? Hey, a lot of times you might have to go, a chip one side or the back on the other side to help out too. This is what teams have to do against them.
The formula wins.
Strong. Exactly.
It wins titles. That having two elite pass rushers on each side of the ball.
Yeah.
And their linebackers are really good. That just makes them so tough. And teams like that win Super Bowls that could rush the passer like that.
To me, they look solid because they have Chase Young, they have Bosa on the edges there, and when you got a field general like Fred Warner in the middle and Greenlaw in the middle too, that controls them. That's like a triangle, like almost like a trapezoid look where you got linebackers covered and you got defensive end covered too, and that goes a long way. Dave says Washington won 17-10. I think it's going to be a little high scoring. I'm going to go, I say 23-26, but 27-23 is what I said, but. Dan, we agreed on that game too. Now let's talk about what the hell is going on with the Buffalo Bills coming off a loss last week, which we both picked as pretty much a lock of the week against the damn Denver Broncos. Play the Jets.
I jinxed them. Because did I take them as a lock or did you?
I think I did actually. I think we both did actually last week.
Josh Allen's just not playing well. And they're just not playing good football at all. On both sides, they're just not playing well at all.
You know what, Dan? I'll be honest with you. I almost took the Jets today. I really did. I did my pickups today because of the fact the Buffalo Bills have a new OC.
Oh, that's right.
So
they're probably gonna ask Josh Allen, "What do you want to run?"
And I think they're going to revert back going to Josh Allen running the ball a lot more too.
Why not? Not predominantly, but that's an aspect of his game you have to use.
Mm-hmm.
I agree with Eileen's Terrible versus the Jets, but if Josh Allen runs more, that's tougher.
That is
because if they run some RPO or get him out and he's running half the time, if he is for him, I want Josh Allen to have like 250 to 300 yards, so 2-3 touchdowns, and a rushing touchdown. I want him to get about 50 yards a game rushing.
Well, that's when they played their best, Dan, when he utilizes the ground game too, because you got to, if you're going to run the ball, you're going to bring the extra guy down the box, which alleviates a lot of pressure on the wide receivers. Exactly. So
what's happening with Josh Allen is he's forcing the ball. I think with Dorsey, they're throwing the ball too much.
Agreed.
If he says, like Eileen says, if they're going to air the ball out, that could happen. He'll throw a lot of picks, I think. If they want to throw the ball 35, 40 times, he's got to throw 2 or 3 picks. If they want to throw the ball 25 times and play a slower game, a grind them game, then that's what I would play versus the Jets.
Yeah, I like watching Buffalo play when Josh Allen runs the ball. I don't want him to run 20 times a game. I want that, 5 to 10 attempts per game.
5 or 6 times, but
exactly.
Just running for a first down and sliding, just moving the sticks, just keeping drives going and sustaining. That's really all you need to do with him. So
they're better when he's balanced. Running the ball with James Cook, of course. And the last game when Cooks fumbled that ball early in the game, he was on the bench a lot last week, Dan. I think they bring him back. I think they're better when they run the ball. The RPO, I like how he runs the RPO. He reminds me of a Daniel Jones, bigger but stronger too. You know what I mean?
It's just tough to stop for a defense.
Very strong.
But another reason I'm picking the Bills is the Giants' offense is totally unreliable. The Jets' offense is totally unreliable. It is, to me, I know I hate this, but I don't see Zach Wilson. They could turn the ball over 3 times, the Bills, but how many points the Jets going to score if they're going to score 3 touchdowns?
Hey,
Or are they
listen.
going to struggle and kick field goals? Like that really, it's really what makes the difference.
The thing is that I
just
I
don't
don't watch
trust
a
them.
lot. Yeah, I don't watch a lot of the Jets games. I try to check
I
in when
do.
I can. But here's the thing. I'm going to ask you then, and Eileen too. How mobile is Zach Wilson out of the pocket, keeping plays alive?
He is pretty mobile, but
Okay.
even if he's mobile, he still seems to not make the right decision at times.
Okay. That
Even
is
if
what.
he's mobile,
Okay.
he's
All right.
mobile,
Okay.
but he's got to play a good game overall.
Okay.
They got to be able to score points. And another, yeah, see, that's what I'm saying. Like the Jets won't score nothing. I think that the Jets fall into this trap of
I like that. I
trying
like
to
that answer.
throw
I
the
like that.
ball
Okay.
and throw the ball
Okay.
and throw the ball, run the ball. Every time I
Okay.
watch a Jet game, they Brees Hall will have a 30-yard run and won't come back in the whole drive. Like last week, he had like that big screenplay. Eileen knows what I'm talking about.
Mhm.
And then they threw the ball 3 times in a row.
Are we going to blame Salah? We got to blame Salah for that in the OC too.
And I think their play calling is horrible at times. Situationally, I think the Jets' play calling makes absolutely no sense. Zach Wilson, you can't depend on Zach Wilson's arm. And Hackett's like, I'm going to depend on Wilson's arm.
Mhm.
Eileen knows what I'm talking about. Like, they throw the ball, in my opinion, too much.
Okay.
They should be giving it to Brees Hall, giving him a breather for a play, and then have him back in. You can't have him have a big play, and then he's on the bench for 3 plays in a row, and then you either kick a field goal or score no points because of that.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, that takes away what I was going to say because I go back to last week. Russell Wilson has not been the Russell Wilson that we've always seen in Seattle. We know he can throw darts.
He's
We
been
know that,
better
but he's been better. But my
recently.
thing is how he beat Buffalo was extending the play, keeping the play alive. That's why I asked you. And Eileen brings a great point right there. He's not mental mobile. Well, he can extend plays, but if he's wide open, he's not going to find that read. He's not going to make that throw.
He'll find it half the time.
Half the time. That's not going to get. That's not going to win games.
Sometimes you won't. Half the time we'll throw a pick. Half the time we'll throw it in the dirt. It's like thirds, like 33% of the time pick, or a horrible throw, or he'll complete it a third of the time. Like Hackett's not better for Wilson, but in my opinion, Hackett needs to like that. That's what I mean. Like, did Rodgers make Hackett? Rodgers is extremely skilled and can probably play in a lot of offenses, and I could probably have Rodgers in his prime in all different kinds of offenses, and he'll do well.
Rodgers is totally opposite of mental quarterback.
Well, my question is, has Hackett ever been the OC without Rodgers and been really successful?
No, that's a very true question. It's like the Brady Belichick system.
I'm just curious. Like, what other teams has he been offensive coordinator for where they score a lot of points without an elite quarterback?
Very true. Very true.
Just curious.
I'm going to go Buffalo, but I was almost curious because there's ways and options here. I want to see the Jets go back to a vanilla offense. Run the ball first. Go with sack. Fundamental football. Go back to vanilla football here. Be balanced. Take your shots when they come. But Buffalo on the opposite end here. I don't know what to see this week. Are they going to go back to Josh Allen, run the ball, and were they done better with the new OC? I don't know.
It's definitely different.
More. I don't know. I really don't know.
Maybe their offense will look better. Maybe they'll go back to, all right, let's simplify something or run something we haven't run.
Right.
I don't know if their offense has been exactly the same. Maybe they can go back to something that worked last year and the year they just haven't seen, just something a little different. But I don't trust the Jets' offense at all. And if I had to pick your offense, I'm picking Buffalo's, even though the Jets have a good defense.
Mm-hmm.
Josh Allen seems to struggle versus them. But I just don't see the Jets scoring a lot of points and enough to beat the Bills.
I agree. That's why I'm still going to go Bills here. I think they have the more sufficient offense, an okay defense. But the thing is, the opposite side of the coin here, can Zach Wilson score? I don't think so.
I don't think so.
So I'm going to go Buffalo.
I just don't have any faith in that. And neither do Jet fans. Neither does Eileen. She has no faith in that. Neither do I.
Exactly. I agree. Well, let's move on to the next game. It's Seattle Seahawks, Dan. I've been on them all season, man.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. To me, I don't know. The only reason I'm taking Seattle this week, I love the Rams at home, but there's no Stafford, Dan. There's no Stafford.
If they have no Stafford, they don't win the game.
So I had to go Seattle.
Who's their quarterback?
I don't even know his name. What the hell's his name here? I forgot his damn name. I'm drawing a blank.
All I know is with Stafford last year, they looked horrible. They didn't have Cup. but I don't know if Kupp's going to make up for not having a Matthew Stafford.
I agree. That's the thing too. I'm going to go Seattle here. I think their offense is just something special, so I'm going to go with them.
If the Rams had Stafford, I probably would have picked the Rams if he was healthy.
I agree.
But without him, they are lost, and we saw that last year.
Well, Dan, you know what? I'm looking it up now on ESPN right now. They're saying Stafford might be playing tonight because you know who their other option is? This might surprise you. You know who the backup? He played in the NFC East for 2 teams.
Was one of them us?
Nope. It wasn't us either.
Foles?
Nope. Philadelphia drove his ass out of town. Carson Wentz is the backup, but they're saying Stafford right here. Eileen said it too. I just looked it up as well. Stafford is supposed to start, but the question is, can he? But the question is, can he grip that ball from that injury because he couldn't hold the ball a week ago?
Oh, it's Ripken.
Oh,
Eileen said it in chat.
Is it Ripken? Okay, he's on there. Okay, because they have Carson Wentz too.
Or Rippin? You mean Rippin? Like the son of the Washington quarterback long ago?
Mark Rippin.
Does she mean Rippin without a K?
She's at Carson Wentz. I forgot that was Carson Wentz. Yeah,
Carson
Wentz is the backup.
It was like this week.
Yes, Dave. He's the backup. If Stafford goes down, he's the backup. Mm-hmm.
I'm still picking Seattle.
I am too. I don't agree with Matthew Stafford. I mean, he's been out 2 to 3 weeks now. He's had that injury, when he gets up as us. But I don't think he can grip the ball too because Paku can get open. Cooper Kupp can get open too. But I don't know, man. The Rams aren't what the Rams for me. So I'm going Seattle.
They
Too many weapons.
Look up and down regardless.
Too many weapons for Seattle. Too many weapons for me. Too many weapons. All right, well, Dan, let's go to the Sunday night game here. Boy, I tell you, this is going to be one hell of a battle on Sunday night, Dan. Josh Dobbs, who, dude, I give this dude so much credit, man. I give this dude so much credit. I really do.
I do.
Man. Well, why are you going against Josh Dobbs since you gave him so much credit here?
Because the Broncos seem to be playing much better football right now.
They do. They do look better.
They've played well versus some good teams lately.
Chiefs,
Russell Wilson seems to be playing better. And they're at home. And I don't know what to expect from Minnesota. It could be good, but I think the way Denver is playing and being at home, I think they're going to win the game. Last week, they just looked a lot better than they did earlier this season overall. To me, they did.
2 of the teams, Chiefs and the Bills, who the Broncos have beaten. They're getting better.
2 good football teams. I mean,
they're getting better.
They kicked the Chiefs' asses.
Yes.
I mean, I know that Mahomes had the flu, but they have a good defense still. Kansas City. And I just think Denver's playing better football. It won't be surprising if Minnesota won, but like I said, I also got to make up a game. So I'm picking Denver at home, and they're playing better football right now. I think they're going to win this game.
Yeah, to me, this is a toss-up game, man. I love Josh Dobbs.
I agree with that as well.
Coming into a system, the way he's throwing the ball, the way he's, and the thing is, Dan, a lot of people don't understand when you go to a new team, you got to win the locker room over, brother. And this dude has won that locker room over.
I agree with that.
I'll be honest with you. I think he won the Arizona Cardinals locker room over the way he played, and coming here within 3 days, coming off the bench and lighting up the game and winning the game for you and getting the game ball.
I agree.
I'm going to go with the hot hand here. I'm going to go with Josh Dobbs because it's a different set of players, different set of scheme here. Mm-hmm. Denver has been playing well, but I think it's about time that Sean Payton and the Denver Broncos with Russell Wilson come back down to earth a little bit, Dan, because they haven't put 2 weeks back to back yet. They have not.
True.
So
I agree with that, but I do agree it's a toss-up game.
Mm-hmm. Dave says Vikings 28-17. Now here's the question 2. Justin Jefferson, I believe he's back this week, if I'm correct.
That makes a big difference, obviously.
Huge difference, but I don't know how his injury is going to play out. Is he going to run the deep ball? Is he going to go vertical? I don't know. Josh Dobbs, the thing is with Josh Dobbs, he doesn't throw the ball deep, Dan. He's not a deep quarterback.
He's more of an intermediate passer.
He's like a mid-range quarterback who has wheels, too. He can get out of the pocket, extend plays, but I think I'm going to go with, even without Justin Jefferson, I'm going to go Vikings here. Joe Sullivan says Denver is due for. I agree, Joe. I think, like I said, they haven't put back-to-back games together. They
really
beat a
letdown versus Minnesota.
Hey, when you come off and you beat the Bills, I think it would be. Just like with the Chiefs, they shit the bed after that week. Then they come back, lose that game next week. They play the Bills here, beat the Bills. You got to put 2 games back to back here.
I agree with that. I just think they're playing good football, more consistent lately. That is,
and I don't think Mile High, is a home field advantage. Honestly, I really don't playing up there. Maybe the altitude is a little bit different for breathing wise, but I don't see that being a home field advantage like Philadelphia, Seattle, or something.
If it's really close, if it's like the dead of winter, it is.
Oh, of course, yeah. I mean, you're playing out there in the snow, just like Green Bay's hoping that they get a 3-foot snowstorm,
but not yet.
Tomorrow's game. But yeah, not yet. No. So I'm going to go Minnesota here. Our disagreement, our second disagreement of the week, Dan. But Monday Night Football, Dan. Last year this was the Super Bowl game here. The holding penalty cost the game. Now we're going back to KC here. The Philadelphia Eagles riding high against the Kansas City Chiefs, who 2 losses, but really both teams, Dan, have not put a full game together yet.
Yep.
Crazy.
Yeah, the Kansas City's defense looks excellent, but their offense is not as good as it was in previous years. Yeah. And I think they're just having a rough stretch. I think that they also have less weapons than they used to have. Like they don't have a Tyreek Hill. They have Kelsey.
Right.
You slow Kelsey down. They have Checo, but they don't have just the horses they used to have. But I think they'll bounce back and have a good game at home. If it was in Philly, I'm picking the Eagles.
Okay.
If it was at home for Philadelphia, I would pick them.
Okay.
But I do think it's going to be a close game. I do think both teams will be in the 20s, over 20, 25 points at least. I just think KC is going to pull out a close game.
Yeah, I agree with what you said. I'm going to go opposite of you. I'm taking the Eagles. To me, the Eagles are just so strong, on both sides of the ball here. I like the advantage on the offensive side here. They got more weapons from last year, Dan. And they came up so close. But the thing with me, I like how you said the Chiefs don't have the weapons. They have they have Kelsey, of course. No Tyreek Hill anymore. Watson's out there. They went out and got Hartman back. Miko, he dropped the ball last week and he got benched. They don't have the weapons. You look at Juju Schuster last year. Okay, why Juju? Well, he showed up in the Super Bowl.
People don't like Juju Smith-Schuster, but he was their leading wide receiver last year. He was huge in the playoffs.
Exactly,
especially the Super Bowl. So
big time.
It's just another viable receiver. Some people don't like him, but he definitely did well with Mahomes. He didn't do bad.
Well, Mahomes makes everybody look good. We know that. It's like Brady. He makes any wide receiver look great. Mahomes is the same way. But I think the Eagles have so many weapons here, especially on the offensive side of the ball, Dan. I mean, the Kansas City Chiefs have given up points, and they've looked great the following week. You know what I mean? But that Eagles defense, regardless of the secondary, but the thing is, Kansas City hasn't thrown the ball really deep this year, Dan. I think they double-team Kelsey.
They haven't.
I think they double-team Kelsey here, and I think they make someone else beat them, either a Miko Hardman, a Watson, Pacheco out the back.
Miko Hardman would be motivated to do that after getting benched. So they're going to have a little chip. They're going to want to bounce back, and they're going to be motivated to. And I just think they'll win a close game at home. But I get your point. The Eagles are tough. Their offense is really good. Their defense is really good. I'd say they're more complete at the moment, and they look better. But you also said they haven't played a full game either. So I think they'll have to play a full game. I don't think they can play, 3 quarters well, play 1 quarter bad, and win. But they can. But I'm picking Kansas City in this game.
Yeah, I'm just going to go opposite. I think the horses come out because the Eagles have too many horses, man. The thing is, dude, they're 8-1. They haven't put a 4-quarter game together. And they're sitting at 8-1. They find ways to win the game. You know what I mean? They find ways no matter what it is. The offense doesn't look great. The defense,
they have found ways, yes.
Right, they find ways. Just like the Dallas game. We came back. They left the door open. We came back. What happened? 2 sacks, man. Put us out of a touchdown range. Right away the defense steps up. So I'm going to go with what I've seen so far, the eye test. I'm going to go Philadelphia Eagles to me. But, I tell you one thing, Dan. This game's not in Philadelphia. It's in Kansas City, which is talk about home field advantage all the time, right?
They have a home field advantage in Kansas City. I think they do.
I agree. But the thing is, Dan, why is my thing moving constantly?
But the Eagles are a very good football team. They're one of the best teams in the NFL.
I agree. This game is going to tell you about.
That's a good point.
Mm-hmm. Well, you know what the record is, Dan? I put the record on Philly Press Box last night when I was talking to Bill Furman. Andy Reid is 27-4 coming off of a bye week.
So I'm saying that's a very good point. And the fact that they've had a bye, that means they want to regroup, and they've had 2 weeks to prepare for this game.
Yeah, and I don't know.
A week and a half because they've had time off.
That's true. But I think Sirianni's the same way, man. I mean, I think he's going to go back to the film room, look at advantages, and he's one of those quarterbacks, or the quarterback coaches, not the quarterback coach, but head coach, but he looks at playbooks. He looks at this, he looks at that, the X and O guy. I think the solid advantage is a speed back like a Gainwell, someone like that.
Yeah.
Even if they use Penny to, with DeAndre Swift, that's 2 big bangers in the middle, Dave. Dan, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
And I think that's what's going to happen. And then they're going to throw a little lightning out there with Gainwell. Because Pacheco's really their only runner. Clyde Hilaire is not the greatest running back anymore. He's been benched for quite a while time.
He had a good rookie year.
He did have a good rookie year. But you know what? I'll tell you what. If Dan, you're correct, and the Kansas City Chiefs win here, and any Eagles fan that goes out there and gets hurt, you need to call 1-800-HURT-123. Attorney Big Al, Jason Fine, motor vehicle accident, slip and fall, workman's comp, personal injury claims, 3 convenient locations throughout Pennsylvania, New Jersey. First, the Garden State, Cherry Hill. Give them a call. Philadelphia, if you get hurt after the game, slip and fall, stupid mistake, call them. Philadelphia area, 1628 JFK Suite 2120. If you're a Pittsburgh fan up here and you're an Eagles fan, of course, you get hurt, give them a call. 500 Grant Street, 2900. Once again, Jay Fine, 1-800-HURT-123. And Dan, this is a Monday night football game. You're going to be up late. So why not Monday morning? Dan, tell me about this.
Monkey Co. Coffee, the evolution of flavor-infused coffee. Got to fill the Giants' veins with coffee this weekend to see if they can pull out a victory. They got a bourbon chocolate chip flavor, toasted coconut rum, a Sumatran blend. Their newest blend, organic blend, Perula, Florida. Use the promo code OOTB Sports at the checkout at monkeycocoffee.com to get 10% off your order. They make an excellent product. The evolution of flavor-infused coffee, monkeycocoffee.com. Get your bag today.
Yes, please. It's a Monday night game, Sunday night game, whatever you're watching. You're staying up late any night. Get your Monkey Co. coffee. Christmas is coming up, of course. Get it. Order it now. Get some T-shirts, travel mugs, coffee cups, K-cup, thermal mugs, cold beauty frizz. Get it all out there. 10% off with OOTBX Box Sports. Dan, before we get out of here, I do want to show one thing. Trayshawn Wiggins is fighting December 2nd. They are throwing everything at this guy. They changed his opponent, Dan, already. A 3-week notice, and they changed his opponent already, yes. And he has to put up his belt on the line for this. Insane. He has everything to lose, nothing to gain fighting a scrub down there. You know what I mean? It's insane. That's Don ridiculous. King, if you're listening, dude, come on. Give Trayshawn Wiggins the props, dude. Get him a fight like you're giving Bronner out there. Give the dude a legitimate top 10 defender. He'll fight anybody. Give him a week, he'll fight anybody. Great guy. Had him on the show numerous times. So Don King, if you're listening, get serious, man. Get serious. You know what I mean? Let's see. Joe Sullivan. And he spends so much time studying off a bye week like he does a menu. I agree, man. Just like that State Farm commercial. He wants his nuggies. He wants that cheeseburger. He's thinking it's a play sheet. You know what I mean? He is definitely prepared. Last comment tonight. Ronald Acuna definitely got the 2023 MVP. Congratulations.
Good. Well deserved.
Well deserved, definitely. Yep. I want to see where Matt Olson popped in there, though.
Matt Olson wasn't even in the top 3.
With his year, he wasn't even involved in that? Wow.
Nope.
Wow.
He didn't have a high enough average. Strider was not in the top 3 of the Cy Young either.
I seen that. I was kind of weird about that one.
He had a 386 RA, but he had 281 Ks this year. A 20-5 record, even though it's deceiving because of your team, but still. 20-5 record, you're not third in Cy Young.
That was a better record. Some
guy who was 11-14 was ahead of him.
But he had a better record than Blake Snell.
Snell was better overall. But Strider should have at least been top 3 in the Cy Young voting, is all I'm saying.
Insane. Well, hey, you know what, Strider, if you're listening out there, continue to grow the mustache, that little porn mustache. Come back next year and let's go 25-5 next year. That's all I'm saying. Well, Dan, you ready to get out of here? Because in about 10 minutes, we have another show to do, the NFC East War Room. Myself, you, Steve Loftman from the Commanders, and Joe Sullivan from the Bills. So
I agree with that comment by Joe, even though it's off topic.
What's that?
Last one. The last comment by Joe.
My eyes tell me Strider is better than others. I agree. I agree too. I mean, I think they look at it too. What team you're on too, Dan? You know what I mean? I really do. But
and he had close to a 4 ERA, but he had a couple bad game at the end. So
he got rocked at the end too. Yeah, but you know what? Hey, regardless of the You had a great year, brother. I can tell you that 100%.
He absolutely did, and they'll be back. I'm not worried about it. So.
Oh, they definitely will. Definitely will. We got a lot of revenge factor on our minds. You know what I mean? By taken out by certain teams. But Dan, you ready to get out of here?
Yes, I am.
All right. Well, Dan, I'll see you in about 10 minutes, of course. So make sure you check out the NFC East War Room. 4 teams, 4 hosts, 1 show. What can go wrong? It's the NFC East, right?
Yep.
So make sure you stay tuned.
Even though I'm picking against them, still gonna root for them.
Yeah, I'm gonna bring that up too. You picked against them too. Remind me to bring that one up, Dan. Okay.
Yep.
All right, Dan, we're getting out of here. We'll see you next week on the NFL Weekly Pick'em Show, where this week the only advantage is Dan can either go 3 up, 3 down, or somewhere in between. But I had to lead by 10, so hopefully I'm up 13 next week, Dan. Until then, we'll see you next Thursday, 6 p.m.
Later, everybody.
Later.